drone announced that it would now escort everyone to the arena, clearly signaling that the next phase of the competition was about to begin. Just then, a mysterious voice instructed a girl to remove the blindfold from her eyes. As soon as she did, she found herself in a large, luxurious room connected to a viewing window. At first, she couldn't understand what the people inside the room were doing, but when she looked outside, she saw a massive arena where intense fights were taking place. A bold bodyguard approached her and said, "What you're seeing below is the main arena. The owner of this arena is seated in one of the 16 VIP rooms." The girl smiled slightly and replied, "So, we've finally arrived at my brother's playground." Kim was present in the room as well. He briefed everyone, "As soon as the current match ends, Sunwoo will enter the competition. His fight is up next." At that very moment, in the arena below, a small boy defeated an opponent 10 times his size. Watching this, Kim muttered, "That kid is a monster." He turned to the manager and revealed, "That boy is Hansu. He's the same age as Sunwoo." The manager was stunned. Another high schooler in the arena. Kim checked his tablet and added, "Technically, Hanmin dropped out of school, so he's not a student anymore. But strangely, he quit the same school that Sunwoo was expelled from." Just then, a guide drone arrived near two fighters and made an announcement. The match between Room 9 and Room 20 has ended with Hanmin's victory. Next up, Room 10 versus Room 28. As the announcement echoed, all the fighters from those rooms started stepping out. When Sunwoo and the old man walked into the arena, they were even more stunned than they had been in the previous round. Minho's match was scheduled first. The other 10 fighters waited patiently for their turn. Anyone who lost had to leave the stage immediately. The old man knew that Minho wasn't the kind to panic easily, but then suddenly something shot towards Sunwoo at incredible speed, like a projectile. He flinched in shock. It turned out to be just a rock-one that had been hurled at blinding speed. But Minho wasn't an ordinary fighter. He instantly realized the stone had come from none other than Hanmin, and he also knew very few people would have noticed such a quick move. Yet Minho wasn't just anyone. Just then, Naman walked up casually and asked Minho, "Are all your high school teammates this arrogant?" Minho looked confused and responded, "I'm not really sure about their nature." But suddenly, Naman's mood shifted. He erupted in anger, declaring, "There's no way what you just said is true." The moment Minho sensed the bloodlust coming off Naman, he instinctively dropped into a defensive stance. Meanwhile, Sunwoo and the old man stood by, unsure what had triggered Naman's sudden rage. "Why is he behaving like that?" Amanda explained to the old man. "Minho's senses are so heightened that he can detect even the tiniest shift in his opponent's intent. When he opened his eyes and saw Han walking away, he was shocked. He couldn't understand how his instincts got so overwhelmed that he momentarily thought he was under attack. But Minho was sure a moment earlier. Han genuinely was about to attack him with deadly intent, and then changed his mind at the very last second. Before anyone else could pick up on the moment, Minho was called into the ring by his actual opponent. The scene shifted to a grand hotel, where a wealthy president was watching the fight on a large screen. He turned to his butler and asked about Minho's opponent. The butler responded, "His name is Peace, and while the kid may have some flashy moves, Peace is a solid wrestler. If he finds his rhythm, he can crush his opponent within seconds." He continued, "Wrestlers have always dominated the top tiers of mixed martial arts. It's the strongest base in combat. Even when attacked with just fists, a wrestler can grab and control the fight. The most dangerous opponents aren't those who punch, they throw their entire body weight into every attack." In short, the butler concluded, if you're a good wrestler, you've got nothing to fear. Minho was being compared to Peace on a physical level. As soon as Minho took a boxing stance, Peace chuckled. "What is this? Some kind of boxing cosplay?" He assumed Minho couldn't fight without gloves. Unfortunately for Peace, his first opponent was Minho. But before Peace could laugh further, Minho moved in and landed a punch with insane speed, one that hit Peace's eye so hard it was likely he'd never be able to see from it again. Peace howled in pain, his face contorting in agony. Minho, on the other hand, remained cold, completely calm. One single strike and Peace was already injured and disoriented. He could now only see out of one eye and barely even follow Minho's lightning-fast movements. Minho Minho kept attacking from the same damaged side, making it impossible for the much larger piece to react or defend. Suddenly, Minho landed a left uppercut and without missing a beat, followed with a right straight punch to the face. The impact was so intense that it may have fractured Peace's skull, and yet Peace neither fell nor backed down. He stood his ground, refusing to collapse. But Minho showed no mercy. He launched attacks from every angle, each strike brutal and devastating. The hits came so relentlessly that Peace's second eye was also beginning to give out. Minho wasn't just winning, he was demolishing piece by piece. Everything was happening so fast that the big guy couldn't properly track Minho's moves. The old man was shocked watching Minho, who had almost defeated his opponent with just a few punches. But Amanda pointed out that somehow Peace was managing to grab Minho's fists and trying to stop them. Then the scene suddenly shifts to the stage. We see that Peace had almost launched an attack on Minho, but Minho instantly jumped back, creating distance. He himself was confused. He had been dominating Peace, so why did he suddenly feel danger? Peace, too, was shocked. How was he able to block those attacks? That's when he remembered the moment his one eye briefly started seeing clearly. His instincts kicked in. The intensity of that savage fight was so crazy that his entire body went on high alert. It felt like Peace had entered the second phase of a boss fight. He closed his eyes, and even Minho couldn't properly understand what was happening. But he knew one thing: he had to stay alert, because the odds weren't entirely in his favor anymore. Peace, with closed eyes, suddenly caught Minho's punch. Everyone in the hotel president's VIP room watching the fight was shocked. Minho felt a sudden sense of danger. He knew that if he didn't move left, he would definitely die. Somehow he dodged Peace's next attack and thought he was safe. But then a jointed hand came toward Minho, grabbed him and slammed him into the ground. Before he could even hit the floor, Peace had already caught him mid-air and performed a reverse body slam. The old man was stunned by the outcome, while the president looked pleased, though he still didn't understand how Peace became even more powerful after losing an eye. The butler explained maybe it was the effect of that injection. When he lost his vision, his other senses became sharper. The scene rewinds a bit. Minho was being brutally beaten. Peace smiled like a devil, thanking Minho for damaging one of his eyes, because that was what helped him fully awaken his new powers. But suddenly, Minho punched again. He refused to give up. The punch was so powerful that Peace was thrown several meters away. Then we find out Minho had burst Peace's other eye, like a balloon. The hotel president went into deep shock. He thought all his money had gone down the drain. The old man hoped Minho might still be okay even after all those attacks. He didn't truly know what had happened, but he was just glad that things turned out this way. Meanwhile, the butler told the president something even more shocking. When Minho landed that final punch, he was unconscious. The president was shaken to the core. He had clearly seen Minho raise his fist in victory, but Amanda knew Minho needed to regain consciousness immediately. Minho had to wake up before Peace could find him using his enhanced senses, even without eyes. Now we see that Peace has awakened, but Minho is still unconscious. Peace couldn't see a thing with either eye, but surprisingly, this wasn't a weakness. It became an advantage. His senses were evolving with every passing second. He could smell the floor, feel the dirt particles in his opponent's breath, and even detect slight changes in air pressure with his skin. It felt like he could see behind himself without turning around. At first, he had thought the injection he took wasn't powerful, since it wasn't some kind of power-type drug, but now he realized that injection was insane. He now possessed powers that were growing stronger every second. Peace started laughing maniacally, while everyone stood stunned, staring at him. He finally decided because of Minho, he had received this strength, so he would let him rest peacefully. Then suddenly, he jumped and launched an attack. Meanwhile, Minho was still unconscious. His body wasn't ready to respond to Peace's presence, but then he remembered he had to avenge his innocent brother's death. At that moment, he recalled how he was dragged into the underground fight arena when he was just searching for weapons. That memory was so powerful that Minho's eyes snapped open. His body came back under his control, and as soon as he opened his eyes, he saw Peace about to strike him with a sharp elbow attack. But something was odd. Peace's speed looked looked as slow as a turtle. Minho quickly understood. Peace hadn't gotten slower. It was himself. He had become much faster. Peace's attack was so powerful that it cracked the ground, but Minho was no longer there. The old man was also stunned, watching this. What just happened? Peace saw Minho, and Minho thanked him for his enhanced senses. After resting a bit, Minho had recovered considerably, and now Peace finally understood. This little boy was no joke. Minho was now faster than before. He took his stance again and teased Peace to follow him. He had gone back to basics and took the first step. Peace immediately sensed that a major attack was coming. The fight resumed between the two, and somehow Peace blocked Minho's punch at the exact right moment. But Minho was fully confident. He knew one blocked punch could be a coincidence, but the second one will definitely land. But then another attack failed. That's when Minho realized he'd have to take things one step further. Peace's senses had become so sharp, Minho wasn't able to land even a single strike. He was confused. How could such a heavy guy track his speed like this? Peace could sense even the slightest heartbeat of Minho. He knew now there wasn't a single blind spot left around him that could take him down. Even Minho realized that fighting this opponent at normal speed was no longer possible. As risky as it was, he had no choice but to push to his max speed and face Peace head-on. Minho began charging like a Supra. He knew now was the time to land his special move, the straight light punch. But the moment he threw the punch, Peace caught it instantly, slammed him hard onto the ground. As Minho fell, his neck snapped. Peace calmly asked him, even after powering up this much, "Why did you fall?" Minho suddenly got up. He thought his neck had broken, but it was perfectly fine. Peace just smiled and said, "If you hadn't fallen down, I would have broken every bone in your body one by one." Meanwhile, the old man stood up, realizing Minho's speed wasn't working anymore, but he was still learning and analyzing, trying to figure out what kind of move could possibly defeat an opponent like Peace. Just then, they saw Minho get back up again, and this even after his stamina doping had worn off. Still, Minho tried to maintain his speed, and the old man was genuinely shocked. Suddenly, a punch from Minho landed clean straight on Peace's face. The old man was stunned at what he was witnessing. Minho was now dodging the big man's moves, moving insanely fast, circling him like a madman. The old man couldn't understand how Minho was still keeping this speed up even after the doping effects had worn off. Then another punch landed, second clean shot, straight to Peace's face. Yet the old man was still puzzled. Why is Minho wasting so much energy on fake moves when his actual punches are working? That's when Amanda spoke up again. She explained, "It's exactly because of those fake moves that Minho's punches are connecting." Amanda went on to explain how Minho had stopped using fake moves once he realized his opponent had lost his vision. And that's exactly when the real problem started, because Peace's other senses had evolved far beyond normal at that point. The old man could only understand about 50% of what Amanda was saying, but she didn't stop. She continued, "Minho is now cheating Peace's enhanced senses. If Peace sees a single, simple attack, he can read it easily. But if multiple attacks come from different directions, it becomes almost impossible to block them all, especially if the person doesn't yet have enough experience with these new senses." Now, Minho had become Peace's biggest puzzle. It had turned into a purely confusing battlefield. And yet, even with such little time to analyze and predict, Amanda had a shocking realization. Minho was even more dangerous than she had previously thought. If you liked the video, don't forget to leave a like, comment down below, and let us know which part you found the most interesting. And hey, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go do that right now. Also, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next video. Until then, take care and keep smiling.